Welcome to the world of CarlosMiele. The Brazilian brand has recently gained international exposure, with stores in the world's most exciting cities and a growing list of celebrity fans. CarlosMiele's eye-catching designs aren't his only love. He's also committed to giving back to Brazil's families and has a passion for art and architecture. His strong ties to his Brazilian heritage have been key in shaping his growing international brand.
I was born and raised in Brazil, and I grew up in an Italian-Brazilian family. I remember to spend a lot of time with my grandfather, who had a dry cleaning business. The influence of my grandfather was so strong on my life. I remember how careful he was with the dresses, and I think this inspired me a lot to be a designer.
From city living in Sao Paulo to Carlos's stunning beach home in Florianopolis, the vibrant colors and local flavor of his world play into each of his collections. Carlos describes the women he designs for as sophisticated and ageless, with an innate sense of confidence and femininity that reflect the Brazilian way.
Well, my big inspiration is Brazil, its way of life, the cultural diversity, the landscape, colors, the light, and the freedom with which Brazilians relate to their bodies. My goal is to celebrate the human form, empower and make the women feel beautiful and comfortable in my designs. My favorite designers are Japanese, but their culture is about denying the body. And the Brazilian culture is about affirming the body and the natural relation that we have with our bodies. Because we are under the tropical, we are really mixed with African, Europeans, and native Indians. So it's showing the body is not erotic for us. Showing the body is something natural.
Carlos uses techniques rooted in his Brazilian culture and designs by moulage, which starts with the draping and pinning of fabrics to create a form, after which patterns are made and the pieces are sewn together.
My studio is based in São Paulo, where I work with pattern makers, seamstresses, and my team. 10 years ago, I started a partnership with Copa Roca, which is a group of women artisans living in the poorest area of Rio de Janeiro. They do handmade craftsmanship with different traditional techniques from Brazil.
One of the most prevalent techniques is the fuxico, which has come to represent a signature element of Carlos's designs. The fuxico is a traditional handmade technique in which small circles of fabric are sewn together one by one and gathered in the center, creating a unique embellishment resembling a rosette.
Handcraft is a very strong part of the Brazilian culture, and fuxico is one very strong example of this. And those little rosettes made one by one, it's cut in circle, and the ladies, they have to sew one by one. And this was a technique that was a long time in Brazil, not being used.
CarlosMiele's Fall-Winter 2010 collection saw the launch of biodenim, a biodegradable fabric produced exclusively with excess denim. The material is softened naturally using a butter taken from a traditional Brazilian fruit.
It's a very organic fabric.
Contemporary architecture and art have played an important role in the evolution of Carlos as a designer. Just as architecture shelters people, Carlos envisions his clothing as a shelter for a woman, designed to perfectly complement the proportions of the female body. This idea has been paramount in the global expansion of the CarlosMiele brand, as Carlos has worked closely with architect Hani Rashid to design stores in New York and Paris. The Sao Paulo flagship store incorporates fluid, curvy lines to symbolize the shape of a woman's body.
My inspirations for my store come mainly from organic architecture and the female body form. I try to establish a relationship between body, space, and time at the stores.
Carlos's New York City apartment is just a block away from his store, located in the fashionable and vibrant meatpacking district. Carlos sees his apartment as another reflection of the constant dialogue between fashion, art, and architecture that is present in his professional and personal lives.
I have always been passionate about contemporary architecture and art. I'm inspired by the space and the movement of architecture in the contemporary cities. I believe that art can happen any place. My New York apartment is contemporary. It's a mix of old and new. It's not trend at all. My studio is in São Paulo, Paris is my showroom, and I show my collections in New York. My fashion show usually are very simple. It's all about celebrating the clothes. What I like mostly in fashion shows is that I create for the body and for the movement of the body. So having the models walk in the catwalk give a different perspective of my design. Showing in New York is a great window for a designer. After start to show in New York, I'm selling more than 20 countries. I love to show in New York, and I love New York because New York is not a city of America. New York is the most international city in the world. It's here where everything's happening, the music, the art, and I think fashion more and more get important.
Carlos's creative spirit and passion for all kinds of art extends beyond his brand into his work as a multimedia artist. He believes that art is happening everywhere, at any given moment. His goal as an artist is to propose dialogues between different expressions of art, including video, music, performance, and fashion. Carlos's art and performances have shown at the John Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts and the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Carlos's passion for art and fashion extends into his philanthropic initiatives, which led to his partnership with Copa Rota, a cooperative of women artisans who live in the world's largest shantytown.
With this partnership, we can keep the women in home, taking care of the kids, and making a living. Fashion is a way of empowering women. The women that wear my clothes and the women who makes my clothes. So fashion for me is a way of building bridge between those two groups of women.
Carlos has also funded the reconstruction of a children's emergency room in Sao Paulo, providing the hospital with state-of-the-art equipment that helps treat thousands of children every month.
Working with social underprivileged and environment issues has been always important to me because I grew up in Brazil and those are big issues in Brazil. Another work that I'm passionate for is my partnership with the Rainforest Foundation.
Carlos's passion for environmental issues led him into a partnership with the Rainforest Foundation, founded by Sting and Trudy Styler. Carlos recently brought a fashionable approach to the cause.
To help to raise funds, I invite people like Scarlett Johansson and Camille Bell to create a collection of t-shirts.
Some of these well-known names have appeared in magazines all over the world wearing CarlosMiele designs. Celebrities have also turned to Carlos in increasing numbers, choosing his statement-making designs for red carpet premieres and A-list parties. Carlos started showing his collections in New York in 2003 and now is one of Fashion Week's hotly anticipated shows. As the brand continues to expand on an international level, Carlos plans to further his commitment to making cool, wearable fashion that is socially and environmentally conscious and inspired by sophisticated women of the world.